welcome. Happy Thursday. We've got 60 minutes together again. Tonight's practice is going to be a slower paced one. We're going to stretch it out. Last week was a tough practice. We moved really quickly. We were even jumping around on our mats. We were sweating. So this week we're going to cool it down, slow it down so that when you go back to these videos later on, you've got kind of a balance to work with. So we're going to start laying down on the mat tonight. And before you get settled in, if you would like to have a blanket nearby, you don't need one, but it could be useful just to have something soft and cushiony, a blanket, a sweatshirt, a pillow, a pair of socks, whatever you've got to give yourself a little cushion for when we do things with our knees on the mat, just to make it a little bit softer. So I'm going to set my blanket to the side. You can do the same. And then you're going to come all the way down onto your back when you are ready. So taking a few moments to settle in here, you can come into a little mini Shavasana if you'd like. Legs out long, just a little bit wide on the mat. Arms laying by your sides with your palms facing up. Arms are a little bit wide away from the body as well. If you'd be more comfortable with your knees bent, your feet on the mat, your knees gently resting on each other, that would be a great way to position yourself, especially if you've got any tenderness in your lower back. If none of these feel good to you, you could sit upright. That would be totally fine, maybe with your back against a wall. You could also take that blanket you have, place it under your head like a pillow, or kind of roll or scrunch it up underneath your neck for a little bit of cervical spine support. Really anything that's going to make you comfortable here now. Feel free to take some time settling in. There's no rush, no urgency. Keep wiggling around as much as you need to, making teeny tiny little adjustments until you feel about as comfortable as you can possibly be. Closing down your eyes. We'll take a big cleansing breath to begin. All together. When you're ready, inhale deeply through your nose. Nice and slowly, all the way to the top of that breath. Hold it in at the top. Maybe take one more little sip of air. And then when you're ready, open up your mouth wide, let it go with a sigh. And then come to a natural, easy breath in and out through your nose. So our practice tonight is called Be Here Now. Be Here Now. If you're not familiar with Ram Dass, give him a little search, find some books. He's got a documentary, I think, on Netflix. He passed away recently, but his teachings are really beautiful. And one of his teachings is just really simple. Be here now. Be here now. So our practice theme tonight is be here now. We're going to be staying very present in the moment as we move through some slow, really amazing, delicious stretches for the body. Great after a long day at work, a long day on your feet. This would be a great way to prepare the body for sleep. It would also be a great way to start your day in a nice, slow, gentle way. Anytime that you feel the need to let go of some tension, physical, mental, emotional tension, we're going to stay very present in the body, in this moment here now, for the entire 60 minutes that we have together. And then hopefully you'll be able to take that sense of presence off the mat with you into the rest of your evening or the rest of your week. So a really great way to anchor into the moment and really arrive in the here and the now is to just tune into your breath. Your breath is this really amazing, kind of magical little tool that you're always carrying around with you. As long as you're alive, your breath is always flowing and it's free. It's easy. You don't have to have any extra equipment. You don't have to pay for it. It's just with you as long as you're alive. So whenever you're paying attention to the breath, it's really hard to be anywhere else in your mind. Your breath is always happening in the here and the now, in this very moment. So as soon as you take your awareness and you pay attention to your inhale and your exhale, then in an instant, you've found the present moment. So let's do that here. Feel your body breathe in. And feel your body breathe out. And just allow yourself to stay anchored to the following inhales and exhales for the next couple of breaths. Let your breath be the most important thing in the whole world right now. There's nothing else to worry about, nothing else to do. Just stay here with your breath. Decluttering the rest of your thoughts from your mind. Kind of getting away from your thinking mind, your busy mind. Coming fully into the body, into the breath. Feel your body breathe in and breathe out. Feel the belly rise and fall. Feel yourself expand and soften. Coming further, more deeply into this moment here now, start to open up your sense of listening. Start to open up your sense of listening. Notice any sounds that you can hear. In addition to the sound of my voice, what other sounds can you notice? Paying attention to all of the sounds that you can hear. Quiet, as well as the louder ones. Near and far. Maybe see if you can bring your attention to the closest possible sound. Maybe it's coming from your own body. What's the closest sound that you can hear? And then take your awareness to the farthest away possible sound that you can hear. What's the most distant sound that you can notice? Allowing every sound that comes into your awareness to be a part of your experience right here, right now. Allowing each sound that comes through your awareness to be very neutral. There's no good sounds, no bad sounds. They're all just noise. They're all just neutral sounds, equally a part of your experience in this moment, right here, right now. And then slowly re-entering your body, Let's do a little body scan here. Take the next 3, 4, maybe 5 breaths to start at the very crown, the top of your head, and scan your way down through your body. Very present in your physical body here now, picking up, noticing, observing, feeling any sensations that are present in your body. Making your way down through the head, into the arms, through the torso, into the hips, into the legs, and into the feet. When you're ready, very gently start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, moving your body into the present moment, coming from stillness into movement, and then making those movements slowly, just a little bit bigger, maybe picking up your hands, rolling your wrists, rolling your ankles, maybe bending your elbows, turning your head from side to side, noticing how it feels to move your body into the space around you. Let's take a full body stretch. Arms reach out overhead, get as long as you can through the whole body. And then bend your knees, place your feet on your mat. Hands can go on your belly if you'd like. And then we're just gonna gently start to windshield wiper the knees from left to right. Side to side, let the hips roll back and forth. Rolling onto the back of the pelvis and then onto the outside of each hip. Windshield wiper back and forth a couple more times. Gentle twist for your spine. You can go slow or you can go a little bit faster, whatever feels good to you. And then you're gonna gently come back to center, bring both knees into your chest. Give the knees a tight squeeze with the hands. You can roll your ankles if that feels good. Roll a little bit from side to side, massaging the lower back. And then you'll keep your right knee hugged in. Extend your left leg out long. Press the back of your left leg down against the floor, against your mat. Give the right knee a tight squeeze into the chest. Go ahead and roll your right ankle a couple of times in each direction. So 3 to 5 circles one way, and then switch directions. Go 3 to 5 circles the other way. And then you'll take your hands behind your right thigh. Instead of on top of the shin, take the hands to the thigh now. Kick your right foot up toward the ceiling. And then you're gonna re-bend the knee and extend it. A few more times like that. Bend the knee and extend. Keep going. And the leg does not have to go straight when it gets to the top. It can if the leg wants to go straight, but you don't have to force it. You can keep the knee bent. Do one more and then hold the foot up at the top. Big hamstring stretch here for the back of the right leg. Now point and flex your toes 5 times, or about 5, could be 4, could be 6. Point and flex the toes, big movements from the right ankle. And then wave your toes from left to right as far as they can go, 4 to 6 times. Don't worry about counting unless you like counting. Just feeling into the body here now. Good, and then we'll hold the leg up in stillness. Gently push the back of the left leg down against the floor again. Take a breath, be in the body right here, right now. And then you'll bend the right knee, draw the right knee toward your right armpit. We'll take half happy baby. Grab a hold of either your right shin with the elbow inside the knee, the ankle, the pinky edge or inside edge of the right foot, or your right big toe. Maybe using 2 fingers to grab the right big toe if that would feel good. Grounding into the left side of the body. This is half of a happy baby pose. You're maybe used to doing this with both legs in this position. Right now, we've just got one leg in this position. Sometimes that feels a little awkward to be doing this just one-sided. Sometimes it feels really good. Whatever you're feeling, be in it fully, feel it fully. Try not to let your mind wander off to your grocery list or to-do list. Stay here in the body right now. And from here, we're gonna come into figure 4 stretch. So you're gonna bend your left knee, place the left foot on the floor, and then cross your right ankle on top of the left knee at the thigh. Then you're gonna pick your left foot up off the floor so the knees draw in toward the chest. Take your hands behind your left thigh now, or on top of your left shin. So your right hand should go right through that hole in the middle of the legs. And then you grab a hold of the left thigh or shin, whatever feels better to you. You can roll the ankles if you want to, get any of those pops and cracks out. You should feel this stretch probably in your right hip, outside of your right hip. Let your head be heavy, let your face relax, jaw relax. The really kind of magical thing about coming into the present moment in your body right here, right now, is you start to notice all the tension and the tightness and the stress that you're carrying. And then as soon as you notice that tension and that stress, then you have the ability to let it go consciously, intentionally. But you've got to slow down enough to be in the body here now, to even be aware that you're holding on to that stress. So take your next big breath in, and then with the exhale, let go of a little bit of that stress, a little bit of that tension that you can feel here. And then when you're ready, we're gonna switch sides. Your right leg is gonna go long. Keep holding onto the left knee, fingers on top of the shin. Squeeze that left knee into the chest. Press the back of your right leg down into your mat. Roll your left ankle now 3 to 5 times in each direction. Breathing still, in and out through the nose. And then your hands are gonna go behind your left thigh, kick the left foot up toward the ceiling. Remember, the leg does not have to be straight here. You can keep the knee bent. 5 or 6 times, you're gonna bend the knee and kick it back up. Bend the knee and extend. A couple more times at your own pace. There's no proper speed here. You can't go too fast or too slow. It's all about finding what feels good in your body. And then one of the next times that you kick that foot up, you're gonna hold the foot there, keep it up high. Big stretch for the back of the left leg. A couple of times you're gonna point and flex the left toes, exaggerating that movement as much as you can. And then wave your toes from left to right as far as they can go a few times. If you find a sweet spot anywhere, feel free to pause and just hold it there. That's another kind of skill with yoga. When you come into your body here now and you find those little tender spots, those little sweet spots, the really intelligent and wise thing to do is to stay there and breathe there and let the tension melt away rather than trying to wiggle your way out of it. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come into not figure 4, we're gonna come into half happy baby. You're gonna bend the left knee, draw it toward your left shoulder, grab a hold with the left hand, either at the shin, the ankle, pinky edge of the foot, inside edge of the foot, or the big toe. Whatever feels natural to you. Grounding into the right side of the body, back of the right leg, right hip, right side of your rib cage, right shoulder, right arm, heavy against the floor. Opening up into the left leg, back of the thigh, inner thigh, maybe the outer hip. Just breathing here. If it feels good, your elbow should be inside your knee. If that doesn't feel good, you can keep it outside, but I generally find that's a little bit more awkward there. So finding whatever works for you, but I'll try to provide some suggestions along the way so you have a starting point. Last breath, last moment here. And then we'll move into figure 4 stretch. Bend your right knee, place that right foot on the floor. Cross the left ankle over the right knee this time. So the knee opens up wide. You'll take your hands behind the right thigh or on top of the right shin if you want to go in a little deeper there. If you want to roll the ankles, you can keep rolling the ankles. And then settling in, finding that nice outer hip stretch for the left side. Unclenching your jaw. If you're a jaw clencher, teeth clencher, many people are, myself included, this is really common. So if you notice yourself clenching your jaw repeatedly, perpetually, it's a good idea to open up the mouth wide like you're gonna yawn. Get a big lion stretch there, and then wiggle the jaw a little bit from side to side. That's a good thing to do again and again and again, kind of training yourself to keep that jaw relaxed. Let's take 2 to 3 more breaths here. With each exhale, feel your body soften into this stretch just a little bit more. And when you're ready, you can uncross your legs. We'll take another full body stretch. Arms go overhead, legs go out long. Big deep breath here. And then you're gonna bend your knees. You're gonna gently roll over to one side of the body and use your hands to push up to a seat. Nice and slow with our movements today. And then you're gonna come into a tabletop as you arrive. Come on up to your hands and your knees, stack your joints with your shoulders right on top of your hands, your hips directly on top of your knees, and your fingers spread out nice and wide. As always, make sure you've got lots of weight in your fingers. Your fingers are really firmly pushing down into the floor, making sure that the weight is not dumping into your wrists where it gets sore and tender. We're gonna do a few rounds of cat-cow, but we're gonna take it extra slow today. So go ahead and drop your belly low, lift your gaze and your tailbone up toward the sky, big arch of the back. Pull your chest through between your biceps. We're gonna take a full breath, maybe even 2 here if it's feeling really good. And then when you are ready, you're gonna go ahead and round the spine, go the opposite way. Drop your head, tuck your tailbone, look back toward your feet. We'll take a full breath or 2 here. All right, we'll do that a few more times. Drop the belly low, lift the gaze, lift the tailbone, pull the chest through between the biceps. Take a full breath or 2 here. Feel free to even wiggle into it, shimmy into it a little bit, see if that feels good. And then you'll go the opposite direction, round the spine, drop the head, look back toward your feet. Push the floor away with your hands, puff up between your shoulder blades. Really present in the body. Notice how this shape feels. Where's the tension? Where's the tightness? Where's the stress in your body? Feel free to shimmy it out. And we'll do 1 more round. Belly low, gaze and tailbone up. Take a full breath or 2 here. And then last time, drop your head, round your spine, push the floor away. Breath or 2 here. Good, and then come back to a neutral spine. Let's find a child's pose. You choose knees together or wide. Sit back onto your heels. Drop your head and your chest down toward your mat. Arms can stay out long in front of you with your elbows down. Or you could take your hands and stack them underneath your forehead. Or you could wrap your arms back around toward your feet. Whatever feels most relaxing, most comfortable in your body. This should be a resting pose. This is a great place to come back anytime you need to calm the body, calm the mind, the nervous system. Catch your breath. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up to tabletop pose. All right, so restacking the joints, we'll do a few wrist stretches here. Turn all 10 fingers back toward your knees, keeping your palms on the mat. So in a moment, we'll do the backs of the hands to the mat. For now, keep your palms pressing into the mat, just rotating the hands so that the fingers point back toward your knees.
And make sure that the hands rotated outward toward the left and right sides rather than inward toward the center. That one will be awkward. Hands rotate out and around. And then you can either stay still or you can move into the body a little bit if it would feel good. Side to side, forward and back. Make circles. Taking care to go nice and slow so that you can really stay in the body and feel all of the different sensations that are present. And then if you find any of those little sweet spots, feel free to stay and hold there and let the tension melt away, consciously releasing stress from the body. When you're ready, flip your hands back to the front. We'll do the opposite stretch now. You're going to take the backs of your hands to the ground, backs of your hands to the mat with your fingers pointing toward each other in the center. So as you look down at your hands, what you should see is your palms facing up at you. Press all 10 fingernails into the mat. Your arms can be bent here if needed. And then when you're ready, curl the fingers in like you're going to try to make fists. Squeeze those fingers in tight. And then again, open the fingers up wide. We'll do that a few times. Curl the fingers in nice and tight, and then open the fingers up wide. Let's do about 2 or 3 more at your own pace. Curling in and opening up. Curling in and opening up. Curling in and opening up. And then you'll flip back to your palms. And we'll come into a puppy pose next. Hands go out in front of you toward the top of your mat. You may or may not want to scoot the knees backwards an inch or 2. Drop your head and your chest down toward the ground. If you can, get your forehead to the mat. That'll be a nice, comfortable place to rest. If it can't quite get there, you could stack your blanket or some other soft object underneath your forehead to get a little more lift there. And then I'm going to recommend setting your elbows down, bending your elbows, bringing your hands toward the back of your neck. Little different tricep stretch there. If that doesn't feel good, you can keep the arms out in front of you. But I want you to find something that's comfortable, something that feels good here, and something that feels pretty easy to stay. This shouldn't feel like a lot of work. It shouldn't feel challenging other than just staying with the breath, staying calm in the body, staying relaxed. It shouldn't be a lot of hard work or effort. Feel into the body. Where do you feel the stretch? Do you feel it more on one side? Making observations here the whole way through. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll gently press back up to tabletop pose. All right, go ahead and take your left arm all the way up toward the sky. Big reach up so you get a little twist for the spine. And then when you're ready, you're going to sweep that left arm underneath the body, underneath the right arm. You're going to reach that left arm as far off to the side as you can, and then set the left shoulder down. Set the left side of your head down. Reach your right arm out long toward the top of your mat. So there's a spinal twist here, a fairly gentle one. The weight is in your knees, on your left shoulder, and the side of the head. If that doesn't feel good for the head, you could stack, again, your blanket underneath your head. Give yourself a little bit of cushion, a little bit of extra space. If you'd prefer, you could also take your right arm and wrap it around your lower back and maybe even hook the fingers onto the top of the left thigh. Just if it feels good. These are just options for you. Stay where it feels best in your body. Remember, that's part of the practice, if not the most important part of the practice, is staying in your body. If you're not present in your body, you can't decide and decipher what feels good to you. And you really can't then honor your body in the way that's going to be best for you, the most self-serving. If you sort of fly through these practices on autopilot, yeah, sure, maybe you'll get a decent practice. It'll feel good. It'll still be good for your body, but it really won't be like the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself. So stay very present in your body. And if I say something that doesn't feel good, adjust it. Let's switch sides. Press the right hand into the mat, come back up to tabletop pose. If you need to shake out the shoulders a little bit, feel free. And then we'll switch right arm to the sky. And then you're gonna sweep that right arm underneath the left arm, reach it as far off to the side as you can. And then set your right shoulder down, set the side of your head down. And then reach the left arm out long in front of you. Okay. Left arm could also wrap around the lower back if you prefer. You could hook the left fingers under the top of the right thigh if it works for you. Just finding options, finding some different variations that work for your body. And if you're not sure, test some different variations out, explore, see what feels good. The body will always tell you, it will always give you little signals, little responses. All you have to do is listen. When you're ready, take your left hand, press it down against the floor, rising back up to tabletop pose. And then we're gonna do a little calf stretch here. You're gonna take your right toes, tuck them under, press back through your right heel to find a calf stretch. So the right toes, right ball of the foot stays down on the mat. All 10 fingers spread wide and push into the floor. As you push back through your right heel, you should feel the stretch in your right calf. Beautiful. From here, we'll switch sides. Right knee down, left toes tuck under, push back through the heel, find that calf stretch. Last breath here. And then set both knees down. All right, from here, you're gonna tuck both toes under, or all 10 toes under. You're gonna slowly walk your hands back toward your knees, sitting back onto your heels with your toes tucked under. We're gonna find a toe stretch, a stretch for the whole bottom of the foot. The gentlest way to do this is to keep your hands on the mat in front of your knees. You'll keep some weight in the hands, or keep it out of the feet rather. If you feel okay here, if the feet feel fairly open, you can start to walk your hands up onto your knees, even up to your hips, sitting totally straight up. This will be the most intense way to do this, is stacking yourself right on top of the feet. The most intense stretch will be here. If it gets to be too much, lean forward, take some weight off. Decide where you need to be. We're gonna take a couple of breaths here. I know this is not much going on in the rest of the body. It feels like something little. We're just stretching into the feet. It's probably a big stretch nonetheless. I want you to stay still, stay calm in the body. Maybe place one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Close your eyes as we take the next couple of breaths. Staying very present. I know this stretch is small but intense, small but mighty. Try to keep the face relaxed. Try and keep the jaw relaxed. Let's see if we can take 3 more breaths with just a little bit of ease in the body. Soften your belly. Relax your shoulders. Just one more breath. And then as you're ready, gently, slowly walk your hands forward, come to a tabletop pose, untuck your toes, lay the tops of the feet on the mat, feel the release there. And then give your toes a gentle little tap back behind you. Gentle little tap against the floor, just for some relief there. And then when you're ready, we're gonna come into a downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under again, lift the hips up and back. Come into that upside down V shape that you are probably well familiarized with at this point. You can pedal out your feet a little bit, shake the head yes and no, rock the hips from side to side. Anything that feels good to you. And then as you're ready, we're gonna take the right foot, step it about halfway through toward the hands, maybe a little bit further. You're gonna walk the fingertips back to frame that right foot and try to pull the whole body backwards in space, searching for a hamstring stretch here. So this is one option for a hamstring stretch. We call this pyramid pose. Fingertips either on the floor or on the front shin, maybe on the wall next to you or on a coffee table or something to hold on to if the floor feels too far away. This leg does not have to be straight. This front leg, you can keep it bent. You can keep the back heel up, or you can lean back into the heel and pick the front toes up. Adjust this to make it feel really good for your body. You can step the feet closer toward each other or longer on the mat. There's really no right or wrong. I'm just going to show you a couple of different hamstring stretch options, and then I'm going to have you next time around pick the one that's your favorite. This first time through, you're going to test out all, let's see, 3 of them. I have 3 of them for you. So next one you're going to crawl the front foot forward, fingers forward, maybe scoot the back foot back, coming into a lunge, and then you'll set your back knee down. This is where your blanket might be useful. You might want to take your blanket underneath your back knee here. If you don't feel like you need it, don't worry about it. And then we're going to come into half split. Straightening out the front leg, right toes pull up toward the ceiling. Hips are right on top of the back knee, directly stacked on top of the back knee. Fingertips are framing the front leg. You could also do right hand to hip, come a little higher up. Maybe left hand to a wall or to some other object nearby, just if you need to be a little bit higher up. And then third option here, if this one doesn't feel good, is to sit back, untuck the toes behind you, sit back onto that heel so this left knee is totally bent, and then fold forward over your right leg in this shape. This one doesn't always feel good for the left knee for everybody, so if this one doesn't feel good to you, stay up in the last position or go back to pyramid. So to recap, pyramid, both legs are up high in the air. We don't have the back knee down, you're just folding over the front leg. Half split, back knee is down, front leg is straight. And then your kind of option 2, or option 3, I should say, your second variation on half split, you're sitting all the way back onto the heel and folding forward. So take note of which one felt best in your body, because we'll go through this all a second time and I'll ask you to take your favorite option. And then next, we're gonna go into our hip stretch, our lizard pose. So you're gonna come back into your low lunge, rebend the front knee, set the back knee down. Both hands should be inside the front foot here. Find a nice long lunge stance. So right foot is way far forward, back knee is way far back. So you've got this big, long hip stretch for the back of the right thigh, maybe even a little bit for the front of the left thigh. Lots of options here. I'm gonna, again, show you lots of options, and when we come back the second time, you're gonna take your favorite. So option 1, you're on the palms. You're on the sole of your right foot. Option 2, you roll to the pinky edge of the right foot. To take it a step further, you could take your right hand to the top of the right thigh, give it a little push, and let your spine twist toward that right knee. Last option, you come down, either on the sole of the foot or the pinky edge, you come down onto one or both elbows. Okay. Of course, there are other options. You can reach back with the right hand, add a quad stretch. There's lots of other things that you could do here if you'd like to, but I'm going to kind of try to keep it as simple as possible and not give you too many options, send you into analysis paralysis. Let's go into our last stretch on this side. We've got pigeon pose. 2 ways of doing this one. Come back onto your hands. Take the fingertips as far forward on the mat as you can to create some space, some clearance room for the right foot to wiggle over heel toe to the left edge of the mat. And then scoot it back toward your left knee just a little bit. Drive the right knee forward, land the right shin or the right calf on the mat at an angle. You can scoot the back leg back if you need to, and then come down onto your elbows. Now, if this does not feel good for you, whether it's because the knee feels a little bit too tight here, whether it's because the ankle doesn't feel good, the hips don't feel good, usually it's the knee, but for whatever reason, if this doesn't feel good to you, I'm gonna have you roll over onto your back and do that figure 4 stretch that we did at the very beginning of our practice. Right ankle over left knee. You'll get a really similar stretch here, but it just might feel better in your body, less pressure, less pain, which is certainly not what we want to create. We never want to create pain. We want to be letting go of that pain, letting go of tension, letting go of stress. So when you are ready, plant your palms, come back onto your hands, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. We're going to slide back into our downward facing dog. You'll notice a big difference between the two sides. You'll pedal out the feet, very present in the body, feeling that sensation, the difference between the right leg and the left leg. And then we're going to try these stretches out on the other side. You may or may not decide that on the left side, you've got some different favorites, some different variations you want to take, depending on the tightness that you feel in the two sides of the body. Let's step the left foot forward for pyramid stretch. So left foot at least halfway forward on the mat toward your hands. Maybe scoot it further forward, maybe not quite so far, and walk your hands back to frame your foot. Fingertips on the mat, directly on either side of the foot. Pull your body backward in space, let your head go. You should feel a big stretch for the whole back of your left leg. Back of your left leg. Pull your belly toward the thigh. Relax your face. If you want to adjust the feet, you could step the right foot closer to the left foot. You could widen your stance for more balance, more stability. You could come onto the ball of the back foot, lifting the back heel. You could come onto the front heel, lifting the front toes. There's lots of options here. Second hamstring stretch option is to set the back knee down for half split. So you kind of find this low lunge and then you straighten out the back or the front leg. Pull the left toes up off the mat. Hips are directly on top of the back knee, half split. Fold forward with a long spine. And then second variation of half split, you again sit back onto the heel and fold forward over the front leg. In this position, finding your favorite, taking note. It may or may not be the same as the first side. You've got pyramid, and then 2 different options for half split. 3 different hamstring stretches to choose from. Breathing into it now, finding what feels good to you, keeping it in mind for the next round. Let's go forward to lizard pose when you're ready. Bend the front knee, come into your long, low lunge. So scoot that front foot forward as far as it can go. Scoot the back knee backward if you need to. Hands inside the foot. Both hands, both arms inside the front foot. All right, option 1, you're on the hands, you're on the sole of the left foot. Option 2, you roll to the pinky edge of the left foot. To take it further, you could even take your left hand to the left thigh, top of the left thigh. Give it a little gentle push and twist your spine toward your left knee. Option 3, you come down onto one or both elbows, either on the sole of the foot or the pinky edge, your choice. All right, so again, very present in the body, listening to the signals, listening to the cues and the responses as you test out each of those different options. And then deciding which one you're going to do as we come into it the second time through. For now, let's find that final pigeon stretch. Come back up to your fingertips to the front of the mat. Heel toe your left foot over to the right edge of your mat and then scoot it back toward your knee a little bit. Drive the left knee forward, set the shin down. Shin is at an angle to the front of the mat, and then you're gonna come down onto your elbows if this feels okay. Remember, if you prefer, you could roll onto your back for that figure 4 stretch if there's any kind of pain in the body. So paying attention, staying present. Don't let your mind wander off and get distracted when it gets uncomfortable. These are the most valuable moments of our practice, when we get uncomfortable and we stay present. All right, so pigeon pose. When you're ready, press back up to your palms, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. We're gonna slide back slowly into downward facing dog. We're gonna repeat this one more time through on each side. This time, not with all the different options, you're just gonna pick your favorites. So right foot forward when you're ready for the hamstring stretch. Step the right foot through toward the hands, and you're gonna take either pyramid or one of the 2 options for half split. Let's take 5 slow, present breaths. On each exhale, see if you can consciously, intentionally release a little bit of stress from your body, mind, or heart. All right, when you're ready, let's find your favorite variation of lizard stretch. Coming into low lunge and then adjusting from there. Find your favorite version for 5 slow, present breaths. With each exhale, see if you can consciously let go of a little bit more tension. Okay, last but not least, we've got pigeon stretch or figure 4. Whichever one feels like it would serve your body better in this moment, right here, right now, make your way there. Settle in slowly and take 5 conscious breaths in and out through your nose. When you feel ready, gently and slowly make your way back to your downward facing dog. As you get there, take a breath or 2 to check in with the body. Stay present. Stay in your body. Last time through, left foot is going to step forward for your hamstring stretch first, either pyramid or half split. Find your favorite option. Does not have to be the same as the last side. And settle in for 5 slow, conscious breaths. Intentionally releasing some stress with each exhale. All right, find your favorite version of lizard pose next. Come into your long, low lunge and then make your adjustments from there. Again, remember, it does not have to be the same as the last side. What's gonna serve you best on this side of your lizard stretch? Take 5 slow, conscious breaths here. And last but not least, pigeon or figure 4. Make your way there, take your time, and then once again, settle in for 5 very present breaths. Staying in your body, staying with your breath, anchoring in, and letting go. Okay, when you are ready, instead of going back to downward dog, we're gonna press up to a seated position, taking your time, going nice and slow, feeling that relief in the legs, that big release of tension, of stress. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna sit with both legs out in front. We call this Dandasana or staff pose. Both legs long, both feet flexed, sitting super nice and tall through the spine, palms planted on the earth directly next to your hips. So there's a lot of effort required here. There might be some amount of hamstring stretch or calf stretch even if you sit really tall. Flex those feet, lift the heart up toward the sky, shoulders back and down, crown of the head reaching high. Okay, so I'm not going to ask you to keep this much effort in the body the whole time that you're here, but just for a moment as we come into this pose, find it at the start. And then you're going to let the spine soften a little bit, let the hands come onto the legs, and we're going to do some neck stretches. I'm going to turn toward you for a moment so that you can see me head on, but you don't need to turn at all. Your legs will still be out in front of you. Sitting tall, but relaxing a little bit. You're going to drop your right ear toward your right shoulder. Okay, and then you're going to add a gentle nod, yes, if it feels good. Maybe a gentle shake, no, if that feels good. And then you're going to turn your chin down toward your right shoulder. So still leaning toward that right side, just turn the chin down. And then add another little nod, yes, if it feels good. Maybe another little shake, no. And then you're going to find your sweet spot, wherever it felt best on this side. Go back there and take one more breath. And then gently bring your head back to center. Roll the shoulders 2 or 3 times just to kind of reset there after that stretch. And then we'll repeat on the other side. Gently drop your left ear toward your left shoulder. And then you're going to add a little nod, yes. Maybe a little shake, no. Already making some observations about any differences you felt between the left and the right sides here. And then if you're ready, you can turn your chin down toward your left shoulder. And you're welcome to add another nod, yes. Maybe a little shake, no. And then you're going to find your sweet spot where you felt the most tension, the most stress, the most tenderness. Go back there and take one more breath. Okay, and then you're going to drop your chin toward your chest. Okay, try to keep the neck nice and tall, back of the neck super tall. So especially right at the base of your neck, where your neck and your shoulders come together, the very bottom of your neck, try to keep that part of your neck lengthened and tall, and just tilt the skull, tilt the head toward the chest. So then you should feel the stretch more up at the base of the skull there. You might feel it all the way down by the shoulder blades, but you should not be letting the whole head come forward, the whole spine round. Okay, if you want to add a little shake, no, you're welcome to. And then you're going to take your chin up toward the sky. Kind of let the head drop back. But then I want you to try and do this without collapsing the back of the neck. So again, keep the back of the neck super long and lengthened and tall. Just reach the chin up toward the sky. And you can even go a step further and create this underbite with the chin to get more stretch on the front of the throat. So really jut the chin up toward the sky. Good, and then bring your head back to center. Now turn your head, last but not least, turn your head to one side as far as you can go. And then the other side. So twisting through the cervical spine. Keep the spine super tall, neck super long. Twist back to the first side. And then the second side. One more each side. Go to the first side. And second side. And then come back to center, roll your shoulders 2 or 3 more times. Good, and then we're gonna do a forward fold over both legs. Sit up nice and tall, reach up, big breath in. Exhale, fold forward over long legs. Hands fall wherever they naturally want to fall. Your legs can stay together, or if it would feel better, you could widen them just a little bit. You could also, if you need a little more support here, you can take that blanket that you have underneath your knees. Kind of rolling it up, getting a nice little cushion here. It's like a mini bolster, mini yoga bolster. Giving the knees a little bend helps the spine to stay a little bit longer and helps you to feel the stretch more into the back of the hamstrings, or I should say the belly of the hamstrings. Sometimes when we lock out our legs and we forward fold, we feel the stretch in the back of the knees or up at the attachment points at the hips. And not that that's inherently a bad thing, it just doesn't feel as good as when you give the knees a little softness. So paying attention to those things as you fold here. Let's take a couple more breaths. Taking those conscious, present, slow breaths in and out through the nose. Last one. And then as you're ready, sitting back up, you can remove that blanket if you put it under your knees, and then you can position it for your head if you'd like to. We're gonna make our way down to the mat for Shavasana. Before we go, we're gonna do one last spinal twist. So you'll bring your knees into your chest, open up your arms into either a T or a goalpost, and let your knees roll over to one side. Knees can stay stacked, one on top of the other, or you could cross the top leg over the bottom leg like you're sitting in a chair. That would take you a little bit deeper into the twist if that feels like what you need. Really stretching that opposite arm out as long, wide and long as it can go. Finding a nice big stretch across that side of the chest. And then we'll switch sides when you're ready. Come back to center. If you had the legs crossed, switch the cross of the legs. If not, just roll the knees to the other side. Letting your body get nice and heavy here, supported by the earth beneath you. Really stretching out that opposite arm as long and wide as it can go. Finding that big chest stretch for that side of the body. And whenever you feel balanced between the left and the right sides of your twist, you can come back to center slowly. If your legs were crossed, uncross the legs. We'll take a quick happy baby and then Shavasana. Bring your knees in toward your shoulders or your armpits. Grab a hold of either your shins, your ankles, your feet, or your big toes. And we'll take a couple of breaths here. Maybe rocking gently from side to side. Maybe bringing the soles of your feet together with your knees wide. Maybe extending one or both legs out long if that would feel good. And then when you're ready, moving slowly into Shavasana, your final resting pose. Setting yourself up, perhaps with your blanket under your knees or under your head, or rolled up under your neck for support. Finding the most comfortable position you can possibly find, even if it's not laying on your back, like a traditional Shavasana. Maybe you decide you'd rather sit up or lay on your belly. There's no right or wrong. Take your time settling in, getting comfortable, closing down your eyes, maybe taking a little swallow, relaxing your throat, unclenching your teeth one last time, relaxing your jaw, maybe wiggling it side to side. Relaxing down the sides of your neck into your shoulders, your chest, and your upper back. Relaxing your upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms of your hands, backs of your hands, and all 10 of your fingers. Relax your thumbs, index fingers, middle fingers, ring fingers, and pinky fingers. Relax your entire rib cage, your abdomen, your lower belly, lower back, your hips. Relax your thighs, relax your knees, your shins and your calves. Relax your ankles, tops of your feet, bottoms of your feet, and all 10 of your toes. Relax your big toes, second toes, third toes, fourth toes, and pinky toes. Relax your chin, your jaw, your cheeks, lips, tongue, and nose. Relax your eyes, eyelids, eyebrows, forehead, temples, and ears. Relax your entire head, your scalp, the back of your neck, and your entire body from head to toe. Coming fully into Shavasana, allowing yourself to remain restfully aware, at ease, but softly alert in the body. Coming into what's almost like a dream state where you're half asleep, but still awake. And then staying here for as long as you'd like, as long as your day allows for. You can come out of Shavasana anytime that your body is ready. Ending your practice always with your hands at your heart, taking a moment in gratitude, perhaps setting an intention for the rest of your day or rest of your week. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. The light and the love in me honors the light and the love in you. Namaste.